Hey, scrappy people. Traci Reed here today, coming at you with day 14 in my December daily. And every year that I do December daily, I like to document the new Christmas music. I like to listen to it and document it and rate it because, to be honest, I'm really harsh. I'm a harsh critic about Christmas music. So I like to find ones that I actually like and put them in my album, or put all of them in my album. I did leave out one album, even though I do have a sixth spot, because it was just so terrible it doesn't even deserve a spot in my December daily, but it's the Chris Isaak one. Oh, I had such high hopes and it was absolutely terrible. Anyway, I've listened to 5 albums and I did it while I like to listen to the albums while I run. So I have a photo over here of me after a run. I specifically wore this sweatshirt so that I could take it and it would be festive. I do not recommend running in a sweatshirt even when it's 40 degrees outside. It was nasty. But I'm going to, this light just keeps turning off. I'm going to use this foundation page that I created in day 5 of my December prep series with these 6 tags, and I'm going to be inserting this tag in the middle with my photo and then a place for journaling. Actually, the journaling and the title will probably go on the front, the photo will go on the back. And yeah, I'm going to be scrapbooking all of these album covers. I haven't figured out the rating system I want to do yet. I don't really want to leave like a note about each album, maybe a caption, I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll just put them in the order of which way or which ones I liked the most. We'll see. I haven't decided yet, but that is the direction that I'm going. Keep losing the light. I'm going to have to fix these. And yeah, so let's get started. So when in doubt, start with the easiest part. And the easiest part for this was going to be collaging this main set of tag pages. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't know how I wanted to like rate these, but I ended up putting them in order of how much I enjoyed them. And then I'm going to add a star rating to them too, but it's not going to be an obvious star rating, and we'll see that here in just a minute. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to collage these tags, and I wasn't really interested in keeping all of the tags separate. I know that they look really cool as sort of self-contained mini layouts, but the size of the ephemera in this collection and just the way that everything sort of worked together, it looked really great collaged and overlapping. And I really love how the tags still look like tags in the end, but it definitely looks just more like a sort of fun cascade of album covers and bits and pieces. So what I'm going to do is I've sort of sorted everything how or where I want them to be. So I'm just going to start at the top and work my way down. I wanted all of the album covers to sort of sit on a frame, and I wanted them to sort of just be, I don't know, like the vibe that I was feeling, or what I wasn't really thinking consciously, but the way that it feels after having finished it, it almost looks like a stack of presents or like Christmas morning chaos. And I really kind of like the way that that worked. I did make sure that all of the album covers and frames were oriented to the side of the tag that had the hole and was like tag shaped, rather than the square or rectangle, I suppose, squared off end at the other end. And I think that that was kind of cool. So you can see they sort of still stack on each other almost completely vertically. They're just kind of staggered slightly, just due to the fact that that is the way that, for the size of the album covers and the way the size of the page and the way that it just worked out. So it's really cool, like vertical line. That's not perfect, of course. We're going back and forth with the album covers and the word bits, and it just is sort of fun. I just had fun with this layout. So I decided to break up the last 2 album covers just so that I could have something interesting in the middle here, which is I used that 14 tag or card, I suppose, from the number paper. And then I also thought that the plaid frame that I used under that last album, it didn't look great on the floral, like the white floral paper. So I just thought it would be better if I separated the two albums and made sure that that frame stood out better on that green paper. I thought that these ornaments were really cute, sort of hanging from each tag. I thought maybe I would cluster them all together over here, but I didn't like that immediately. And then I realized, I thought I only had 3, and then I realized there were 2 more on the sticker sheet, so that was very helpful. It took me a minute. It took me a minute to get them somewhere where I wanted them to be. I couldn't get them staggered in a way that made me feel like it was even or like it was balanced. So I did get it eventually. But I just went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And this layout did take me a little bit, but I didn't want to cut out any of this hemming and hawing and going back and forth because I think it was a major like integral part of actually putting this page together. So I just kind of sped it up a little bit faster than normal for this first part here. But you can see all of this is coming together. We're getting it. The problem I was having with this last ball was that it was green on green. And also I didn't want to put it all the way at the top, but I had no way to like anchor it. So it was just kind of floating. So I decided to put that flower there at first. I'm going to change it out for something or a different flower, I think. That's a little bit bigger here in a second, but that helped to anchor that ornament and it didn't look like it was just floating in space. So I'm using the little stickers or the little flower stickers from the sticker sheet rather than the big ones here at first. I didn't think I was going to use like the big clusters, but I end up using them because I still have that paper clip sitting on that green tag on the left hand side there, and so it was like visually taking up room for me, and then I took it off and realized I needed something over there. So I sped this up way fast because this was ended up being my star rating system. I used these stars that were actually like the offcuts from my cut files for my All Is Bright collection tags, and I had all these stars just kind of sitting in a basket, and I thought that they would be great confetti and also a good way to do like a star rating system. So each tag has 3 or 4 stars. That was what I ranked them all. Even if I felt like one was a half star, like a 2.5 star album, I rounded up so I wouldn't have to cut any stars in half. But I just put 3 or 4 stars on each tag, so it's kind of like a ranking system or like a star system, but it's not obvious or not in a row. So I think that that worked, and it added some needed confetti like festivity to this page. So now I'm incorporating the large floral clusters because I felt like there was I really wanted the tags to sort of really blend together, so I thought that this would be a good way to sort of bridge the gap between a few of the tags, and then that tag up at the top had a lot of blank space. And then lastly, for this side, or for this part of this spread, I'm going to add these gems just for fun, just for some bling. I like the way that they look at the top of the tags. And then I decided that Miss Alicia Keys needed a beautiful emerald one as well, so I'm going to put that one down there for her. I thought that that added some nice sparkle and made it look just a little bit more fun. So you can see that that was really fun, really cool, but I still needed to add this central tag in here with the photo of myself and a place for my journaling. But since everything was so wild and crazy on those tag pages, I decided to keep it really simple. So I didn't want this like manila tag, so I'm going to cover up both sides of the manila tag, so I'm just using it so it's nice and stiff rather than having cardstock in the middle of my album. And then I'm just going to anchor this photo with this. I've got these Fa La La feelings and a Christmas tree. I thought about adding something at the top of the photo, but I just ended up leaving just this part because I felt like once I added the string at the top, it looked fine. Like it didn't need anything at the top. I liked the way that these little enamel dots anchored that sort of, because it's like book plate shaped, so I felt like it needed little book plate holes, so I used enamel dots for that. Now I'm going to work on the other side. I have this card it's actually from one of the 6x6 pads, so I think it's a 3x3 square, and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do. Like I felt like I still needed a title, and so I'm going to put ho 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 at the top of the card. I'm going to trim the card, and I didn't have it I fought with that ho 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 and that card for quite a while because I just could not put everything down straight. I don't know why, but I eventually get it, and I'm going to cover that tag as well. I'm just pulling out one of the papers that I haven't used yet. Decided to go with the green because the backing was red. And then I'm just going to put it down and trim it. And I'm going to add to that title that I created with the ho 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 with some letter stickers from Cocoa Daisy, some old white letter stickers, and it's going to say ho ho ho, let's go for a run, because I listened to these albums while on my runs. And I decided not to add anything at the bottom of this tag too, because again, I was trying to keep it simple. The last thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to put this on one of those sticky tab hole extender things after I put on this beautiful glittery gold string at the top. I just cut it in half and doubled it up so that it would have a little bit more oomph, since the string is sort of thin. So you can see it's got 4 loops at the top and 4 dangly strands, which gave it a little bit more heft at the top, which was helpful for that the visual weight at the top of that tag, since I didn't put anything up there, right? So here's the sticky tab. I'm just going to pull apart this tag a little bit so that I can stick it in between the layers. Fight with it, just keep fighting with it. Trim it off so that there's no sticky part anymore and it doesn't overlap or overhang. And then I'm going to put it in my album and make sure that it all works together well, and I like the way that it looks, and I do. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Traci M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link in the description box below to the blog post for this video with still images if you are interested. All right, thank you.